What's going on, guys? It's Mr. Jones, of course. Today I'm going to go over Ready, Set, Go 2.4 and Ready, Set, Go 2.5, and I'm only going to have you do a couple pieces of each. So make sure, I'm not sure how the assignment's going to look PDF-wise. If I can split it up, cool, but if not, on Ready, Set, Go 2.4, we need to do problems 1 through 6 and 14 through 18. On Ready, Set, Go 2.5, we're going to do problems 1 through 11. All right, so just write this down so you know which ones you're required to do, just in case I have to give you the whole thing. Okay, so pause if you need to. All right, here we go. On this first section is Ready, Set, Go 2.4. So look at the left right here, and you're going to see these 6 graphs, and you just have to tell me what the y-intercept is of the graph, and then pick the equation that it goes with. So go back in the notes from, I guess, 2 days ago, and it shows you about standard form and what you get for free and where it is, so I'm not going to give it away. But just go ahead and look at problem number 1. We're talking about the y-intercept. You're looking right here where my mouse is moving around. And hopefully you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So on number 1, you would say that the y-intercept is 0, -5. So you would write that for your answer for number 1, and then you would pick the equation A through F, which one it matches. So that is problems 1 through 6. All right, 14 through 18 is just function notation. So it gives 2 equations. You'll see one of them is right here, f of x equals 4x squared minus 3x minus 25, and the other one's the g of x equation. Okay, just a really quick rundown. If I gave you, let's say I gave you one of those equations, okay? So let's just do 4x squared minus 3x minus 25, and I'll write them both here for you. That way we can talk about them. Okay, so I'm not going to do these problems for you. There's only a few, but hopefully you remember from math before that if I say what is f of, I don't know, we'll do 2 because it doesn't ask that one. So f of 2, that means in your f equation, which is this one, plug in 2 for all the x's, okay? So that's literally what it means. So we're just going to take the equation. Everywhere you see an x, we're going to plug in a 2. And if there's not an x, you just obviously leave it the same. So everywhere we see an x, we're going to plug in a 2. And then we just solve using PEMDAS. So PEMDAS says parentheses and then exponents. So this whole section right here, 2 to the second power is 4. 4 times 4 is 8. Minus 3 times 2 is 6. Minus 25. And then we just go ahead and solve this. So f of 2 equals this, and which means f of 2 equals whatever that equals. So I'm going to pull out my calculator because, you know, I'm allowed to. And if I put in all that, my answer is -23. So make sure you can get that on your calculator. I got that because I plugged in 2 for all my x's in the f equation. If it said g of 2, then you plug them into the g equation. Now the only one that's different is you see one that says f of 0 plus g of 0. Okay, that means if x is 0 in the f equation, get your answer. So whatever the answer of that is, you put here, and then you add it to whatever the answer of that is and put it there. Okay, f of 0 means you're going to plug in 0 for x, and g of 0, 0 for x in the g equation, right? There's actually something special about that, and if you know about standard form quadratics, you should actually be able to get the answer in a couple minutes. I'm not going to tell you the trick, because I want you to do it the long way and actually solve them the way I just showed you, and then be like, oh, dang it, I knew it where those numbers should have come from. Okay, so that is that. All right, let's go ahead and move to the next section. Okay, Ready, Set, Go 2.5. Let's go ahead and move that. 1 through 11. So 1 through 6 is just saying, hey, identify whether these are quadratics or not. Okay, you want one side to equal 0 at the very end. So let's just go ahead and look at number 1, x squared plus 13x minus 4 you want a 0 on one side and then the equation on the other. If it doesn't look like that, you have to manipulate the equation to look like that. So right away, we just notice we have a standard form quadratic. So where it says quadratic or no, you're going to say yes, this is a quadratic. What's your justification? It's literally in standard form. Okay, so remember from the test, a quadratic is any second degree polynomial. It has 2 as the highest power, and everything's all on one side. If you look at problem number 6, you can't, you don't know the answer until you get that 32 on the other side and get one side to be 0. Or problem number 2, for example, you got to get everything on one side by adding or subtracting and getting it to equal 0, and then you can answer the question. Okay, so number 2 is tricky, so be careful with that one. All right, these next ones just say, hey, graph these. Okay, so use the skills you have to graph them, find the vertex, put them in vertex form. So 7, 8, 9, and 10, you have all the skills. They're in standard form. Go ahead and skip number 9. Okay, skip number 9 because it's still going to give you a bunch of trouble with that fraction. So skip number 9, no problem. But those ones you should be able to do. I talked about that in the last video, how to go from standard form to a graph by finding the vertex, where's the stretch. So go back and look at that. I'm not going to make this video extra long. I'd rather you just go back and watch that video. And then number 11 just says one of the parabolas looks wider. So go ahead and talk about that. Write a couple sentences. All right. So this is a little long because you are going to have to do some graphs, and it's 2 ready, set, goes pushed into 1. So the video is over. I'm going to let you guys go ahead and get to work. Please contact me if you have any questions, guys. Adios.